take your subject that you've chosen, and you're going to be using a grid, so you want to set up that grid so that that subject is inside of it and not hanging over an edge or whatever. And then you're going to tape that grid down so that it doesn't move. And then in each section, you're going to have some lines. So you're going to draw those lines in the corresponding box. You look at so that, for instance, this one is happening in A4 and A5. So I'm going to slide in the line right there to find the contour of the object. And you're going to do that through the whole piece. If you would rather do a letter, you can do that. If you think you can sketch the shape, feel free to just sketch the shape on. But sometimes this is a little faster and easier, a little bit more accurate. So now I've got graphite paper. It's going to help to transfer. And I've got my Bristol paper that I'm going to transfer the leaf to. So I'm going to put the graphite paper needs to be facing dark side down. So the light side should be up over top of the Bristol paper. And then I'm going to take my drawing and slide that on top. And then I want to tape this down. It doesn't have to be taped to the table. They could be taped together as long as you're careful. But I went ahead and just taped it to the table because I figured it would be a fast tracing. So then I'm going to trace it. And then when I lift it up, the graphite very lightly is all we're wanting. We don't want it dark. We don't want to go back over it. After I've completed it, you're going to see that the entire leaf outline is there, but really light. And then these are pieces of quilling that I've made using that video on Edpuzzle. And that kind of shows what the leaf looked like. And so I'm using some glue to attach some of my quilling to the design. So you can see you just take the stick and just tap it. You don't want too much. This is Mod Podge, so it doesn't really, it does not wash off of tables and that kind of stuff very easily if it dries there. So you want to try to wash that off. And then I usually hold the piece there for a second. Then this shows there's a slit inside your tool that you can use. You slide the paper inside of, and then you can twist the paper in different patterns using that video. The video on Edpuzzle, I made it to where you could skip through it to find different types. And then I wanted to make this center part of that have a little glued area so it would be a little tighter. And then you put a little bit on the end, and you usually have to hold it just for a few seconds. Kind of give it a second to latch on. Then once you feel like you've got it, you slide it off. Here I'm making like a heart shape by coiling both sides. And then this is an okay video, but really the 35 different ways to make it on Edpuzzle is probably your easiest one to follow. Just wanted to show you that you really could use our tools to do those things as well. So I loosened it a little bit, and I'm going to pinch the end, and then it's going to look like a heart. But you can bend them different directions. So these are the pieces I've made. And I'm kind of looking at where I want to put that heart shape. And then once I figure it out, tap that color in. Sometimes it's easier to like work with the bigger shapes first, and then you can start fitting the smaller shapes in and around them. It's kind of like if you were filling up a container with rocks, sand, and small pebbles. You would probably start with the big rocks first, then the little rocks, and then the sand. And so it's kind of the same idea. So we're starting with the bigger pieces first and then fit. So I also had another version where I painted some paint on the leaf back and behind. So that's what this one shows. But you don't have to paint it, and you don't even really need to. I just was experimenting. But you can see how I'm like trying to fit in pieces. So that's kind of the process. You can come up with your own, but I think you'll like it.